Reader here. It's December 3rd, and once again time for Not a Creature Was Stirring. One book that is rightly regarded as a classic of children's literature is The Cricket in Times Square, in which a streetwise cat and mouse help a cricket to realize his full potential in playing grand operatic classics. Author George Selden actually wrote several books in the Cricket in Times Square series, but the one that I'm going to focus on right now is the direct sequel, Tucker's Countryside. The Cricket in Times Square ends with the cricket himself leaving for Connecticut, where he could practice his masterpieces in peace, like a master. This book begins with his friends, Harry Cat and Tucker Mouse, getting a robin visiting them in their home at the subway of New York City.
Harry, he's scared of you. Do something nice to show him it's alright.
What should I do? Purr a little? That's how it writes the cat's purr. The robin has come as a messenger from Chester the Cricket. Apparently there's problems in the meadow where he lives, so he's called on his best friends to help him out. Tucker and Harry have never left New York in their lives, so it's a bit of an adjustment, especially for Tucker, who is a little bit materialistic.
Goodbye, Times Square. The soul who loves you the most is going away.
For goodness sakes, you sound like the last act of an Italian opera. The three of them hop a train to Connecticut, where they are affectionately greeted by their cricket friend, especially when he discovers the package they've brought for him.
Liverwurst! Stolen only this morning from the NACWS lunch counter. Remember your first night in the city when we had the liverwurst together? I thought it'd be nice again.
There are numerous major problems happening in the meadow. For one thing, there's a great big dog that likes to chase cats. 2, there's a great big family that takes a shine to Harry and ends up adopting him, for a short time at least. And 3, there's a 5-day storm that leaves all of us here in California envious, but floods all the animals out of their holes. Even Tucker, who ends up marooned on top of a stump. Until Chester comes up with a rather cunning plan. He calls for bigger and bigger birds to land on a branch over Tucker's head so he can grab it and be lifted to safety.
Thanks for the help, Miss Pheasant. Mrs. Pheasant, Jerome is back in the woods minding the children. Well, tell your husband he's glad he's got such a...
Tucker was about to say fat wife, but he stopped himself in time. But the actual concern that Chester called them to help with is the fact that the meadow itself is in danger of being torn up for apartment houses. Now, you might wonder as well as I do, what in the world can a cat and mouse come up with to help with all this? To the book's credit, it shows a lot of the good that people can do in this kind of situation. There's a group of children who stage a protest, and it actually changes the minds of the construction workers and makes them sabotage their own steam shovel.
Listen, I'm gonna take out Bertha's spark plugs.
You're what? Bertha's getting old. She has a right to a breakdown.
Boy, you are going crazy. The boss'll...
You ain't gonna tell him, are you? Of course not. But the truth is that it is Tucker who saves the day after all, using one of his most mousely qualities, his habit of rummaging through junk to see if there's anything he can keep. Harry Cat read the words, Family Bible of Joseph Henry.
He must have been the man who owned the farm. And he went off and left his family Bible. Can you beat that?
When Tucker explores the meadow and finds the ruins of a burned-down home, he also discovers a family Bible inside that becomes the seed of change for the meadow. There are actually several books in this series, including a couple of picture books, but this is the only one where Tucker is really the hero. Tucker is kind of a fascinating character. He's very multifaceted. Over the course of the story, you'll see him change his ways. He goes from his narrow-minded materialisticness to having a new appreciation for the countryside, which is why, at the end, and thanks for everything he did, the animals vote to rename it Tucker's Countryside. We have a title! And even the little girl who wanted so badly to keep Harry the cat is happy, because she gets to adopt the chipmunk who's never had belly rubs before. It makes sense in context. I'm the Hungry Reader, and man, now I feel like a sandwich, with liverwurst, and Limburger cheese, and anchovies, and all that other cartoon gross stuff.